Welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook along with Chip Nellinger, Blue Reef Agri-Marketing. Livestock futures to the plus side this morning. We're a little bit more mixed in the grains, and soybeans currently a bit lower. We're mixed in corn and have popped back to the plus side in the wheat market. Chip, let's talk first of all about corn. We did get a little bit more export business this morning, about 4.5 million bushels to an unknown destination. I don't know if that's China yet, but at least it's demand coming at the market, which is certainly important at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think to that point, we've stretched the corn market far enough to the downside here that it is stimulating a lot of demand. So, for a lot of reasons, maybe we've gone far enough to the downside for the time being. The funds are evened up and now have a slightly net short position built up in corn, and we see business almost on a daily basis, whether that be China, unknown. Our export sales have been very strong in here. So, hopefully we're, at an even, fairly priced level in here. We didn't see much in the way of surprises from the, banking sector or any scares over the weekend here. And so the outside financial market's starting the week off with a stable note and slightly higher. And so it looks like maybe the worst of the selling pressure might be over for the time being in the corn market.
Let's hope so. Let's hope we can start divorcing ourselves from these outside markets. Soybeans lower this morning. Like I said, we did not see follow through from a higher overnight session, but we had lower weekly closes last week, and the funds have continued to liquidate. I guess the big question for this week is, are they done liquidating, or will they at least move to the sideline here prior to the USDA reports this week?
Yeah, a little fearful that they've got some additional liquidation, ahead here this week. It's all technical right now. We close under the 200-day moving average, and that caused a lot of, massive selling pressure. And so, again, little fearful here in the back of my head that says ahead of this report later this week, we could still see a little bit of liquidation on the bean side, just from a technical perspective, irregardless of what the outside markets are doing to get evened up here. In the big picture, I don't think, like the corn market, that's a bad something that's bad. I think it resets the market where there's zero weather risk in this thing. And there's a whole list of things that could spark here and kind of lining up maybe on the friendly side, fundamentally. But right now it's all technical trading, environment, and the funds might have some more to sell here to get evened up because of their technical levels being violated last week.
Absolutely. Wheat market, we had mixed closes last week, but Chicago was down for the week. The funds are still really short there. We got the pop on Friday with maybe some talk about Russia slowing down or maybe banning their exports. And at this point, now they're talking about maybe nuclear war. So what does the market do with all of that?
Yeah, well, like the bean market, we're coming into not only the stocks and acreage report, but the end of a month, end of a quarter. And so, the logical, thing in my mind is, if we want to see or going to see the funds even up, so to speak, quote unquote, then that means they've got some more buying to do on the wheat side, maybe taking some profits on the short side off the table and buying into week's end. Whether that's fears about the Black Sea corridor, fears about Russia stopping exports, fears about this war expanding, and the nuclear capabilities of Russia. Whatever that might be, there could be some buying interest in the wheat market going into the end of the week, which marks also the end of the quarter.
Yeah, it's always explosive this time of year. And then we run into the USDA reports, both quarterly stocks, prospective plantings, always big reports here. Any expectations as we move into the reports on Friday?
Well, there's a wide variance of opinions on acreage. I think Mother Nature is going to have the final say so here, right? It's very wet in the south, where they should be, well into having started planting corn. It's very cold and wet and snowy in the north. I think there's some more snow coming in the far northern regions. So you're not starting off the growing season here in a very warm or dry manner. And so, I think that we're subject to some shocks and some surprises on that report. But always I'm a little bit leery of this March acreage report. I don't think it's super accurate to begin with, but
No.
Mother Nature is going to have the final say so on this, and whether it clears off and dries up enough to get back in the fields in the south, and whether the north is going to get dried off and get the snow melted fast enough to plant the acres that they want up there.
No doubt. And over in the livestock cattle market, did at least live cattle manage to have a little higher weekly close? Do you think we're kind of past the point where the bank concerns and the economic concerns are going to squash this market because the funds have liquidated a lot of their length already?
Well, they have, but they'd have more to go. A lot like the bean market. I think the cattle market set up a lot like the bean market. Little bit fearful that they've got some more to go on the sell side if they want to get things even up, in spite of some really friendly fundamentals out there. I think
Right.
you also have a seasonal, that's a little bit of a headwind here as well to the cattle market for the next few weeks. And so I think we're going to be highly correlated to the outside financial markets. To your point, there were no big shocks or surprises, no further pain over the weekend. So we're stable to higher along with the outside markets, but that doesn't mean that there won't be some more, scary news out there from the banking sector here, either later this week or next week. I'm not sure where we've seen the last of that, but the stability, you see the stability out there in the financial markets, and the cattle market bounces as a result. So we're very tied, very correlated to the outside markets. A little bit fearful the end of the month, end of the quarter brings a little additional, liquidation from these funds, but we'll have to see.
No doubt. That's a good point you make about end of the quarter and possible more liquidation. But like you said, we're really tied to the headlines now more than the fundamentals in the cattle market. Hog market, seasonals are the opposite. That market has collapsed. And do you think, Friday we did see a little bit of a higher close? Can we build on that? We're seeing a little stability this morning, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, it's hard to trust it because every time we've paused, the market just gets hammered again. So, I think a couple things going. Obviously, the huge premium you had built up in these summer months, we've reduced some of that. Obviously, with the massive selling, you've got hogs and pigs report coming out here on Thursday
Right.
afternoon, I believe. And so there's some thoughts here with the bigger slaughter numbers that maybe the USDA had kind of understated some of those numbers on the most recent hogs and pigs. So this will be a good kind of reconciling of are these numbers growing? Are there going to be any revisions? Are they bigger than expected? That's Thursday afternoon. Again, just in the same vein of end of the month, end of the quarter coming, funds have a pretty big short position built up in hogs. Do they take some profits going into the hogs and pigs report, and B, the end of the quarter? Could easily see that, but I'm with you, Michelle. It's hard to trust this hog market because every little intraday rally has been just massively sold by the funds.
Yeah, I'm with you though. We're ripe for some short covering. We're very oversold, and the funds are their shortest since July of 2007. There should be a lot of reasons there to see a pop in this hog market. We'll see if we get it. All right. Thanks for joining us, Chip Nellinger, Blue Reef Agri-Marketing, and that's Markets Now.